Good morning, everyone. This is Lisa Harnish with Certification Partners. I'm here today with Todd Hopkins and Gary Pretty and Manish Gupta for our CIW, ICT, and uCertify webinar. Good morning, everyone. Todd, you want to go ahead and get started?
Sure. Thank you, Lisa. We're glad to be with you today. We've got a lot of material to cover in a short period of time, so we'll try to move through it in a good fashion and make sure that you have an opportunity to see all the features. The things that we will be doing, we'll be talking about CIW curriculum, we'll be talking about ICT curriculum, and most importantly, we'll be talking about how they work on the uCertify platform. So we're excited about this. This is a part 2 of our webinar series. So you can go back into our archives and view our previous webinar from March 29th to see a little bit more in depth some of the things that we might kind of move over a little more quickly today. But I am Todd Hopkins. I'm Vice President of Operations and Product Development, managing the CIW and ICT programs, both curriculum and the certifications there. We also have Gary Pretty with us, one of our account managers that works with many of you and helping you move over onto this new uCertify platform. And we're glad to have Manish Gupta, the CEO of uCertify, and he'll be walking us through the platform here in just a few moments. We'll give you an opportunity to see our faces so you can become a little more familiar with us as you hear our voices, and you can please type in the chats any questions as you have as we go through this. There's 4 main things that we want to cover today. First is a little bit about CIW and ICT for those of you that might be new to our programs, new to ICT, or new to CIW. We'll give you a quick overview of those. We'll talk about our partnership with uCertify and what benefits that brings you as our customer, the students, and our curriculum and certification programs. And then we'll jump right into the uCertify platform, which is where we'll spend most of our time today. And then try to watch the clock so that we have plenty of opportunity to answer any questions that you may have. Moving into CIW, for those that are not familiar, CIW is a skills-based technology education standard. What that means is we look at a holistic approach to a certification. So we want to teach you what you're going to need to know on a job, give you opportunity to practice that, and then as you get to sitting the certification exam, you have an opportunity to show what you've learned. And those things are very important. We focus on internet technologies, web design, web development, social media, and internet technologies essentially. But we take a vendor-neutral approach. This means that we will profile certain applications in our training and those types of things, but we don't stick people on a vendor treadmill. We're going to teach you why you want to do certain things, how you use that in a business setting, what's the importance and what are the things you need to think about, not so much how to click through a menu navigation of a particular application product. That way you understand the theory and the methodology behind what you want to do in web design, web development, or gaming, or social media, or whatever the technology is. You understand that. Also, it gives you an opportunity to show competency in specific job roles and responsibilities. We are globally accepted. We have individuals that have certified with us throughout the world, here in the United States, North and South America, Europe, Africa, Middle East, China, Japan. So we are all over the world with our certification. For a brief introduction into the ICT Essentials program, this is more of a digital literacy type of program, and many of our customers introduce this in a grades 5 through 8 environment, but there are a lot of things that we as adults or more mature citizens of the world that are new to technology can also benefit from. And you can see that we do align ourselves to various standards technologies. There's the NAEP standards for information and communication technologies, and the technology-oriented Common Core standards. These courses can be implemented as a standalone course. For example, we have a gaming course. You could do that as a standalone, as an introduction into gaming. There's a communications and computing course, so it will introduce you to those technologies. So you can do that as a standalone course, or you can integrate that if you're in an academic environment. You can bring, for example, the word processing course into an English class or into a history class. So you can teach some of that technology as you're teaching students these other topics, and engage those students in using technology to fulfill the assignments in those various courses, using spreadsheets, or even programming and logic, maybe in a math class or a math type of environment. So there's a variety of things that we can do with that. You can teach them together. I know we have some teachers that teach the gaming and programming and logic courses in tandem, because they work well with each other. And over the last 2 years, we've had over 60,000 students enroll in any or all of these programs. So it is really starting to take off and work well. And if you have more questions about ICT, please contact one of the account managers, or give us a call, and we can spend some more time with you in sharing what that program is all about and the benefits that it brings. Now I want to move into the uCertify partnership. This has been something that Manish and I have been talking with each other and working together for a number of years. And you know, you don't build content on a platform overnight, and so it takes time in trying to work out to make sure that, you know, their methodologies and philosophies and our methodologies and philosophies mix and match well, and it's been a very good relationship with Manish, and we're looking forward to you as our customer seeing more of these benefits that will help you. But one of the things that really helps here is all of our courses, as we build them on the platform, they become more interactive. Everything becomes more integrated. With the CIW content some time ago, you know, there were multiple places. If you wanted to go in and learn the content, it was in one place. And then you had to go into another course offering and look at practice exams, or the course mastery component, or whatever it might be, or even the videos at that time. And so now all of that is becoming very integrated, and you'll see that in just a couple minutes on the platform, where the navigation is easy. You go into one course and it is all there. The practice exam components are there, the labs are there, there's video, and it flows much better for you as the teacher and your students to help them understand that. And then as we move into some of the features of the platform, Manish and his team are continually updating and upgrading and enhancing and providing easier ways of moving through it. Many of those upgrades are behind the scenes, so things moving quicker, things opening quicker, better reporting, a lot of those types of things. And we'll look at some of those tools for you as the instructor. It provides you additional controls that we haven't been able to offer you in the past, and much, much more. So I'm excited to get into this. I hope I didn't move through that too quickly. But if you want to see more of an introduction of that, maybe a little bit longer discussion on some of these topics, you can go back to that previous webinar and look at those things.
Yeah, and the other thing with the sales reps, they can help you do we can do webinars for you if there are certain things you don't understand during the webinar, if we go a little fast over it. And also for schools using summer class material through CIW or ICT, and also for the fall, for the easiest transition over, you want to contact your rep, sales rep, so we can actually make that transition very easy from the current platform to the uCertify platform.
Yeah, and there'll be a number of things that we can talk about. There'll be questions as we move into it. But what I want to do is we'll let Manish take a moment here and make sure he's ready as I pass the presenter rights over to him so that he can walk through the platform with us. But currently, if you go to CIW.uCertify.com, you do not need to type in the www. You could do HTTP and then CIW.uCertify.com. If you want to go there, you can look at that and kind of browse through as we go. But Manish, what I will do is let me change the presenter rights to you, and that will take me just a moment here. Find the right button here. There we go. I'll change that over to Manish, and it'll take just a moment as we switch across. But now we'll really get into the nuts and bolts and the meat of what this webinar is all about, and showing you the CIW.uCertify platform. We will be looking at one of the ICT courses that we're currently building and formalizing that template for that course. We'll be looking at the ICT communications course, and then we'll also be looking at CIW material and instructor resources. Manish, I can see your screen.
Perfect. Thank you, Todd, for such a wonderful introduction. And hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today. So as everybody can see, and just like Todd said before, this is CIW.uCertify.com. This is a custom website done for this partnership. So that's what you're really seeing right now. I'm going to jump right into my library. I'm already logged in, but you should know that we should be able to integrate with your school system, meaning we can do single sign-on. Students can come directly to the course without ever remembering another set of user ID and passwords.
Yeah,
that's a total possibility.
That is a great benefit for schools, because I know many of you will have your own learning management platform, or you'll be working with various organizations that provide that enrollment and that management, the enrollment management and class management. And Manish's platform is LTI compliant. It works very well. It's a very relatively simple and quick integration. So we can talk specifically about those platforms as you need.
Thank you, Todd. I'm going to go ahead and I'm already logged in. I'm going to go to my library, and you will see quite a few courses just in a second which I'm enrolled into. But the one that I want to focus on today is this one, the ICT communication. And the real quick, sometimes you will see that a manage button and an open button. In some other cases, you might just see an open button. So what's the difference? It really depends upon what kind of licenses that you have received. So again, what's the purpose of me even pointing that out? Well, our goal is to keep everything very, very simple. It's much easier to just remember one URL. It's much easier to just log in, go to your library, and depending upon your permissions, you can just consume it as a student, or in this particular case, consume it as an instructor, as a teacher, and therefore there's a manage button. But let's look at what our student is going to see. So I'm going to go ahead and click on open button. And as I do, you're seeing my screen right now as a dashboard of what a student is actually really going to see. So from top to, just even when you look at this, you notice that we have a search here, and we have even more extended search here. So essentially, the entire text is searchable. And also notice that I could just start where I left off. I could go to farthest point read, and essentially the bite-sized learning which is on in this particular case, meaning I'm just going to look at one topic at a time. And also, if there are any quizzes and exercises, those are deeply linked. One of the benefits of uCertify is that the entire platform was built by uCertify. So we did not really borrow technologies from or license technologies from other companies. That allows us to do things that is just not possible in some of the other platforms. So let me go ahead and click on the very first topic. And I'm looking at the first lesson here, using the internet and World Wide Web. Let's go ahead and click next. And I'm looking at just the very first topic, very simplified presentation. But I want to point out 3 things here. And you will see that repeated throughout not only this course, but any other course we do. And some of our courses are very, very comprehensive. Some of the CIW courses we do very comprehensive. So for example, it may start with a pre-assessment, go into interactive lesson, then the lab, any activity, both virtual labs as well as simulators, and then any test prep, and then finally a post-assessment, all of that integrated. And the navigation I'm going to point out essentially works everywhere. So first thing to notice that I can click here and I can bookmark anything. I can do my confidence rating and I can add notes. And as I do that, see that all these dots are lit up. I can say, okay, I'm not very confident. Okay, the middle one is gone. So just by looking at it, you can see what has happened here. So you really don't have to click and if you just want to just see, have I bookmarked it, for example. Also on the side pane here, if I were to click this, it opens up a side pane. And in this particular case, and it is context sensitive, and in this particular case, what you're really seeing is a table of content, pretty much the same thing as you saw, at least on the left side of the dashboard. Also, notice this navigation bar will always be there. And in this particular case, it shows a quiz and exercise that is embedded for this particular chapter. Also, there are some settings. So if I were to click on it, I can go and change my font. And let's say that I'm a little dyslexic, and which is a fact, and I can actually change it to a font that will make it easy for me. Also, I can change my font size, I can change my background color, I can navigate through keyboards, and all of that is just to make sure that we are serving every single student, irrespective of their accessibility need. So that's just wanted to make sure that you understand that uCertify is ADA compliant. Also notice that if I were to select something, I get an annotation tool immediately, and I can annotate anything I want to. I can also add some tags here. And also I can share with my section. So what does it mean? If I'm a teacher, if I'm given an instructor license, I see this checkbox, and any annotation I do, if I want it to be shared with my entire section, that is totally possible. And I can select any color I want to, and I can save. So if I were to hover on it, this is what you will see. If you want to modify it, you can always edit it. There were some other things there in addition to annotate. We also had Wikipedia search, Google search, as well as any external link. And all of this essentially is to help the student to kind of discover more, learn more. And there could be a tool that maybe your school has licensed. We should be able to add that tool right here, embed right here, as well as, you know, as you go through this, and if you want to add any other link or text, you could very easily do that. Let's say that in our case, we want to add uCertify and save, and that's what it is now. I can click on it, and then now it's clickable link, and I can go outside. So that's basically a very simple orientation. Now, what we try to do is we try to bring every single element together. So if there's a video, you will see it here. If there's a high resolution Readiness display image, you will see that here. If there is a embedded knowledge check, you're going to see it here. You're going to see every single thing for that topic available in one place. And I should open up another course in a few seconds, another CIW course, and we'll show you some of that to give you a good idea into essentially how we are doing it, and also how some of that will be implemented here as well. So for quiz, and also notice at the bottom bar here, I've got quiz and I got exercise. I'm going to go ahead and click on quiz.
And for those of you that are familiar with our current ICT product, many of the SCORM quizzes that you have seen there, they will be also included here, but it's in the format of the platform, and so it provides more control for you as the teacher. It provides a better experience for the student, but all of those materials will be included. They'd just be in a slightly different location, but again integrated so that you know when you can move through those particular items.
Thank you, Todd. So right now I'm about to take a 15-item quiz, and I could make modifications by going into test settings, for example, here. But let's say for our purposes today, let's keep it simple. I'm going to hit test, and my test starts. Now, I talked about those three elements. Here, your first one, your three dots, your side pan, as it is context sensitive. So now you're seeing essentially your item list, and you're saying attempted and unattempted, I'm sorry. And also my navigation bar that has a timer because we are in test mode. If it bothers me, I can hide it. Timer is still running. And let's go ahead and answer this question. An internet service provider ISP is? This seems to be the right answer to me. I quickly looked at other ones, and I can hit next. And I'm given a next item here. And I can actually keep going and keep doing, and I can answer all of them. I can use keyboard to navigate. I can type A, B, or C, D just to choose item, and I can just hit next. C seems to be the wrong one here. Okay, and then I can go ahead once I'm done with everything. And by the way, I can show you settings, same thing. I can choose the color and font setting just like I've done before. So as you see, the platform itself, once the student understands the fundamentals, we get out of the way and we let the student learn the topic, and the platform should not really be the main focus, but should just fade away in the background so a student can actually learn what they are here to learn about. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end my test. And I got 20% right because I got 3 right. And here's the time dimension to it. Here essentially for this particular, because as we knew we were doing it for chapter 1, so you're just seeing one chapter. And you can see the performance. And then you can see every single thing here. So if I were to go click on my first topic here, so all the items are listed here. And basically what was the result. And then if I were to click here, I can actually see if there was any remediation. In this case, these are simple quizzes. They're not any remediation, but you will see all of that here. Also, annotation works as advertised. My side pan remains there, but it is context sensitive. So therefore, rather than seeing attempted, now I'm seeing correct, incorrect, and unattempted. If I have bookmarked anything, I will see that. So as you can see, all of that works the way it's supposed to. Now I'm going to hit go back. And I'm being asked, do I really want to go back to book? And I'm going to say yes. Now notice one more thing here, and that's very interesting. Notice how it is now 20% green. It is 1/5 green. So what you're really seeing here is analytics at a point of action. and all these analytics are real time, and I basically, the minute I come back, I see it. Also notice that for me, this is where I started, this is where I came back to when I started my quiz. Now, I want to point this out because it's important. A lot of other platforms will have you go to back to dashboard, go to something called quiz area, and then you will choose lesson 1 there. Then you will do your quiz, and then you will come back to the dashboard, come back to the lessons, and then scroll all the way down here for this particular topic. This is, we avoided all of that. As I said, we are totally vertically integrated, and therefore we can do some of these things.
Hey, Manish, I wanted to clarify with people too, when a student takes an exam in there, the nice thing off of the results, it gives the student tips on improving their score. If they didn't do so well, it gives you tips. Like if you went back to your test, off to the right-hand side.
Left side?
Right-hand side of the screen when he was in actually the test. After you finish an exam and it gives you the results, if a student doesn't do so well, there's tips on improving your results.
Correct. Yeah.
Very, very helpful for instructor and student.
Yeah. So I could actually take a test and I could end it, and then you will see that basically the result. And I will show you another way to get to that result, and here are the tips, how to do it, what to do next. But that's awesome. Thank you. And I can now basically, the other trick is you can jump to any area you wanted to. Let's in case, and also click on the title itself, and then you can come back to your dashboard. Also notice on the right-hand side, essentially right now it says manage as instructor because I'm given a key that allows me to act like instructor. Otherwise, you will see link with instructor, and that's where a student can put in their section ID and then come into the system and be visible to instructor. Also notice day 1, I'm at 2%. My start date is 26 April 2017. And actually, I could set it up to another day, or as instructor, you can set it up for me, and then it will become read-only. And then based on to my activity to date, my readiness score is 2%. If I continue at this pace, I will need 1 month, 2 weeks, 5 days to achieve a readiness score of 100%. My current estimated completion date is 14th June 2017. And if that's not enough, I can actually click on the study planner. And then I can essentially see how it is done, and I can just look at these, read these tips, and also notice that as I hover, it's actually an actionable button, and I can complete my quiz or complete my exercise. I can do anything I want to here. And this is just a very simple way of putting everything in one place and providing a little bit more guidance to our students. So that is just a very quick overview of how uCertify works in its simplest form. Any questions or anything else I can answer here, and then I can show you the instructor side using one of the other CIW products.
Manish, probably just 2 real quick things. If you, you could show the exercises from one of the lessons, because that's a little bit different than what we have with some of the CIW content. And then I believe in lesson 5 we have some videos that they can see more interaction with lesson 5.
Okay, thank you. So I'm here, lesson 5 right now, and I'm going to go ahead and click, and I'm looking at a few topics here, and what I'm really doing is trying to find my
here's a couple of videos.
There are a few videos here, and I'm going to go play.
This tutorial is going to review how to create a Gmail account. The first thing you'll need to do is be sure that you're connected to the internet. Then go to accounts.google.com.
So as you can see, that videos are going to be embedded right in context exactly where they need to be, and they will play. And also, going this time, rather than doing quizzes, I'm going to go to exercise here. And this time, I showed you the test mode before. Let me show you the learn mode this time. So if I were to click on learn mode, this is a 10 item exercise. And I'm looking at the very first item here. And notice my 3 dots are there. My side pen is there, as well as my navigation bar is here. My navigation bar looks a little different because rather than seeing a timer here, what I'm seeing is a submit button. So my job is to click where the sender of email is identified. So it has to be from. So I click here and I hit next. Notice the difference here. In the test mode, I had to wait until my test was over before I could see remediation. In learn mode, I see remediation immediately. And here's the remediation. And also notice that exercises, we consider it to be a little bit more comprehensive, and there is always an explanation for that. And I can hit next and I can continue with my test. As you can see, the philosophy of navigation and everything else is 100% consistent. Therefore, it's easy for our student to learn.
Yeah.
And when I hit, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to share with some of the different types of exercises we have. We have these where you're going to, hot boxes where you're going to point and click where the correct answer is. There's others that are going to be matching, so you might be matching a term with a definition, where you're going to drag and drop the term or the definition over onto the term, for example. There's a variety of activities that this exercise portion allows, and ICT utilizes that fairly well. There's a lot of material that you'll find there for the students, and those are all graded as well, correct, Manish?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah, so you'll be able to watch as your students go through and get all of that feedback for you as an instructor to be able to help those individual students. You can see them as individuals, or you'll be able to see them as a group. And Manish, so I think now is the time to move into that instructor so we can start showing some of those opportunities.
Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to my test real quick here and then go back, and as you can see that my exercises, I'm 10% done. There were 10 items. I got my first one right. So that's a very simple kind of orientation to uCertify platform. I'm going to go back to my library, and this time I'm going to get into another course, another CIW course, but this time I'm going to go into via the Manage button. So here basically this is the Manage button. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and notice the very first thing that I see a list of my sections, the sections that I have created, and I can create any number of sections I want to, and any modifications that I have done in one section, I can actually copy it over. So for example, let's pretend that I'm going to start a new section. So the very first thing you notice that create a new section, clone using section list. So for example, if I were to click here, I get my 3 sections listed here, and I can also clone using section key. So let's say that you had a fellow teacher who has done a tremendous job of creating a section and it's perfect in terms of how you want it. They can share their section key with you, and you can provide it here, and you can create a new section, and you will be copying all the customization that other teacher has done, and you can bring everything over here. Very easy if you're working with instructional designers. This is how to really get all of that they have done and start your own sections.
Yeah,
so
that is a great benefit, Manish. I think that way we don't, our teachers don't have to create everything brand new every time they're starting a new course, and they can customize those things they want and continue to move that forward with their materials for their students. I think that's a great tool.
Thank you, Todd. and that also should tell you that I'm about to show how to really customize, and pretty much everything is within your in terms of how to customize a course. You can pretty much do anything with it. So right now, so I'm here within the section, and I could do things such as, of course, I have the tag and the section name, but if I ever wanted to start something which is open enrollment, let the student come in, and when they enroll it, there's their first day and everything is relative to that day, you can do that, or you can be more traditional with a fixed start and end date. As in this particular case, you can set up the mastery level, you can set up the description, welcome message, or any announcements. And also notice teaching assistants. So you can actually have other people help you teach that section or that class. You can actually, there are many ways to bring a student into enroll first of all, and then bring into a section. And one of that is that you can actually send them an invitation from right here. And access keys, then they will join your section. Nothing else needs to be done. This also acts as a very important diagnostic tool. If you are not able to see a particular student, all you have to do is to type their email address and hit invite. And next thing you know, and you can have more than one email address, by the way, just one each line, and then you can see what's happening. Student not enrolled, enroll and link with you. So very simple diagnostic tool as well. So a lot can be done, and then of course you can invite a student by clicking here. Also notice that track. So when you go to track, and right now I do not have any student here, so what we really did was to put some sample students, and this is not for this particular demo. As if we give you a license for Instructor key, where you can come in and you can start managing a section, this is what you will see also. And the reason we have done it, make sure that you understand how it works, and it's better done with some data than without it. So that's why we have done it. The minute you have your first real student, this will go away, and you will start seeing your real student and their progress. So what are we really seeing here? We are seeing the student name here. Readiness is score, start date, target date, estimated when the system is thinking the student is going to be able to complete their course. In other words, when they're going to have 100% readiness score, and also the last login. Notice all of this is some kind of indication that if a student is engaged or not. And more engaged students simply means better outcomes for them. So that's why all of this is part of roster. Also for the readiness score, if I were to click on it, I can look at the same study plan as I've shown you before, and literally putting you and your student on the same page. Let's go to lessons. And as you can see that we not only see what they have done with cards and quizzes, we also see what I've done with the reading itself. So we actually look at what the student is looking at, and we can keep log of where they are, what they have done, and give you some indication of if a student has been even reading or not. And then let's go ahead and take a look at, for example, Maria for lesson for lesson 1 and study cards or flashcard. I can click on it. I can see where she is, what she has done, including every single flashcard. Also, I could actually click for Tim. I can click quizzes and see what Tim has done. Tim has tried this quiz 3 times. 2 of them were test mode, 1 of that was learn mode, and I can actually go in there and look at the results, and I'll look at every single response and see where Tim is. So that's lessons. And as I said, that the uCertify CIW course could be very comprehensive. So it could include a test prep, and if test prep is included, you will see what a student has done. If a pre-assessment and post-assessment is included, you can see what a student has done just by clicking on it, as you can see. Also, we have something called Prep Engine, which is a really gamified way of doing a test prep. It's actually fun. It has a concept of how many items you have mastered, and you were given 3, you will be, as long as you can answer a particular item right 3 times in a row, it will be considered that you have mastered it. So that's your mastered item. How many you're still working on, how many still pending that you have not touched yet, how much time has it taken, and then how many mastered items for each of these lessons. And then, of course, you can create assessments. And if you have created assessment, that's where you will come in and see what your student has done with it. And talking about assessments, essentially you can create any number of assessments just by coming here. Just click on create a new assessment and then select, let's say that you just want everything from lesson 2. You can do that, and it's just a matter of selecting as if you were selecting photos in your album. It is as simple as that. And once done, you can put in the name and what kind of feedback you want to provide to the students. You have complete control over it, how long this assessment is going to be for, and then essentially how many items, which depends upon what you have selected here, any kind of other setting you can do, and then just hit save, and this will be a new assessment ready to go. So that's assessments, and basically once done, you can assign it by scheduling it, and you can actually have the start and end date, number of tries you want to allow to the student, any prerequisite, how much a score they need to do in that prerequisite, grader, as well as you can password protect it and make a really proctored assessment if you wanted to. And then finally design. And notice that how clean it is. It has everything, every single aspect of it from top to bottom. And uCertify design tool allows you to do both. You can customize this course in any way you want to, and also you can do gradebook at the same time. So you can say that if somebody has completed, if the pre-assessment for this course will only be for 50 points, for example. And then you can continue to do flashcard for chapter 1, maybe 75 points. And again, I'm making it up. You can do anything you want to. And also notice that options, there are like plenty of options there to make it look like just the way you want it. And I can scroll through it. For example, I do not want to teach this particular chapter 5 here or lesson 5. I can hide it. And everything under that chapter also is hidden now. And this score here will not be taken into account when we are creating the gradebook. It also should drop some hint here that we are very good with gradebook sync. So we can send all this data back to your gradebook, and that's where you have some of those settings. So that in a nutshell, Instructor tools. Any resources that Instructor has, those will be listed here. So instructors can simply download it and use it. And it could list pretty much any other thing like PowerPoint presentations, anything that can help a instructor teach better, and all of that will be listed here. Instructors themselves can upload materials here, and those will become available to students. So that's pretty much it, Todd, in terms of what I wanted to cover. But if there are other areas I can show, please let me know.
Yeah. Manish, thank you very much. Those are really good. I just wanted to just reiterate on this resources page. This is where we have Instructor Supplemental resources. Again, like you said, Manish, there's a variety of things here. If there's handouts, if there's a slide presentation, if there's a sample syllabus or whatever it might be, answers to maybe some of the handout things that might be in the book. And most importantly, there's the lab files there. So those can be made available if a student isn't able to get them. Typically in the CIW course, those lab files are also there for the student, but these may have a completed lab file or something like that. One other thing, Manish, if you want to go back to, I'm not exactly sure where it is, but in the assessments, we have a learn, test, and review mode. And if you just want to show where we can turn those on or off, because some teachers may want those there, they may not. I think it might be back in the design phase here, where you can go into maybe a quiz, and you can say, you know, turn off the review.
Correct. So let's take a look and see, for example, as we are here in the, I'm going to try here with the post assessment, see if we can control. So for example, we can say that, hey, just do test mode and nothing else. And at that point, the student will not be able to really select any learn mode. And this will only be the test mode. And I can go ahead and save it. And that's it. And if you notice that now this is filled, this is a little bit more with a green background as compared to the more white background here. So that tells you that I have customized something. And in this particular case, it is about that test mode.
And Manish,
set it up,
the one thing that going over this right here, the beauty of this too is the teacher can password protect their quizzes and the practice test in here. That has the capability so you can assign it to students because you're making a custom assessment basically. You can actually assign this and the student cannot do it until you give the password. But the other thing that I wanted to go over too is when you were showing the feature of shutting certain items off, one thing you want to really tell the instructors and the salespeople can tell all of the people that we have as customers, when you start shutting assessments off, if you were to shut off lesson 1 through 10 in this particular course that we're in right now and have the students do the pre-assessment, it will block some of the questions on the pre-assessment if they're located in those lessons. So if they have any questions on that, I have no problem demoing the platform, as well as Eric Barantes or Mary Zimmerman.
Yeah, so there's a lot of power in these settings, and they follow a variety of rules. So it'll take a little bit as we learn how those go. But I wanted to make sure that everyone can see how much control you as an instructor or as a district, if you want to go in and help work with your teachers and say, here's how we're going to deliver this, then you can, clone based upon that section key and have all of the courses being taught exactly the same, or, so you can have some centralized control in that area, or really decentralize that and let the teachers really do what they think they need to so that they can provide the best opportunity for the student to learn the material, to have practice with the material, and then at the end of the time, be successful in that certificate or certification exam. So these are some of the things that I really like from Manish's platform, is that it gives the instructor and those that are on ground with those students that ability and control.
I find that the collaboration between instructors teaching different course content, it could be CompTIA plus CIW product, the platform's the same. And instructors can actually collaborate even though they're teaching different subject matter, but learning modes and things like that, how are you being effective with your students, getting the best results? Those instructors can collaborate pretty easily.
Yeah, there's a lot of power within this platform, and I think it will be great here as we move forward and continue to get more of our content on the platform. You'll be able to see the libraries expand, and a number of things like that. Lisa, are there questions that have been coming in that we may need to respond to, or?
No, it's a relatively small quantity of questions so far. Basically, one of our visitors was saying that they missed the start of the webinar, wanted to know when they're going to start having access to this. When will everyone be required to start using this? We should clarify on the timeline for the rollout on this.
Yeah, currently all of the CIW courses are on the uCertify platform. There's a couple of them that we're going through some final modifications and testing to make sure that everything is correct. But essentially, the CIW library is there. We're currently in the final stages of the ICT communications course, and then we'll very quickly be building the remaining 9 over the next couple months, so that they will everything will be available by fall. But there's many teachers that are going to be doing some type of training during the summer, and we will want to do that as much as possible on the uCertify platform, so the teachers are comfortable with the platform, and they don't get dropped into that in the fall. But our goal is that, you know, as soon as you can, we would like to move you over. You know, we're not going to move you before the end of your school year this year. That would just create all kinds of challenges, because you're all in test mode at this point, you know, preparing for those last few weeks to the month of getting through these courses. So we'll continue out this year for sure. During the summer, you'll start seeing training opportunities, and, you know, our account managers will be connecting with you to coordinate the appropriate time for you and your school. That can also be include a discussion of integrating into this platform. If you're using, you know, I know a lot of our customers in Florida use a partner called ClassLink that helps them with their class enrollments and management of the student body, and that is a very easy integration with Manisha's platform. There are others that might use, you know, a Blackboard or something like that. So we can have those discussions and talk about when it's appropriate to move you over, because we understand that we have preparation to make sure that our content is right and ready for you. You have time requirements so that you and your teachers are prepared to go through this process, because it is different than we've done in the past, but there are a lot of features and capabilities, and we'll work as we go through the summer, more training sessions, so that we can, you know, walk through these types of things. Those might be one-on-one with your school. Those might be, let's have another webinar like this and really talk about how you build these types of things. There's a variety of things that we'll be doing over the next several months. Our goal would be to have everyone on the new platform for the fall. And so whatever we need to do to make that happen, we need to be communicating and working with you as our customers, so that you have the time and ability to make that switch.
And I've been dealing with, Gary Pretty here again, I've been dealing with a lot of my customers, especially college. If there's any people on this call that deal with college, they typically deal with bookstores. So moving in the summertime, going into the fall, I know a lot of the bookstores are asking for ISBN numbers for books. If you notice that with Manish going through this platform, everything's embedded into the electronic content. So the student can click on movies, exercises, labs are all embedded in here. So there is a different ISBN number for the electronic content. So we want to make sure the transition is very smooth. So you can contact your local representative. We can give you the ISBN number so your bookstores have that. So there's no confusion moving forward.
Yeah. So that kind of concludes, I think, our session today. There are a couple things that we do want to make sure that you are aware of as we're coming up on the top of the hour here. There are a number of things that we are doing as we talk about the uCertify platform. That's one of the initiatives that we have going to provide a better delivery of our content and programs to you as the customer. We're also going through a number of our CIW courses and working on updates. And I think the one that might be of interest at this point is we've been reviewing the JavaScript certification program, and it's going through a fairly significant change in exam objective. And we're currently in that process where we're defining those and working on that and working through what the lesson outline would be based upon those changes. And we'll have some of that information available soon to instructors to begin to look at. So if you do currently teach or are interested in teaching a JavaScript course, please contact one of our account managers, give them their information, and we will be inviting many of you to participate in reviewing those exam objectives as well as the course outline and the changes that we're anticipating. We don't want to miss anything. We want to make sure that what we will build, and the goal is to have that for fall available on the uCertify platform, that new updated course that will work very well with our Advanced HTML5 and CSS3 course, because in web design, those three technologies really work together, and we're bringing that JavaScript course more in line with what we've been doing with the Advanced HTML5 and CSS program. And so if you're interested in participating in that, there's a variety of things that will be available there. If you're interested in participating in the objective and lesson outline review, please let us know. Obviously, we're going to need to bring in some subject matter experts as we look at content development, as we look at question writing for both practice tests and the certification exam, because all of that will be affected over the next several months. And but if you're interested, let us know. We'll have more information in the coming weeks and on that particular program.
And one question I want to bring up, I know this has come up to me with a lot of my customers, is this is a new platform that we're moving over to. I know this is test season. It's not going to affect the testing portal system that you're
Correct.
Giving the CIW certifications in. That's a completely different system. It doesn't affect that, so there's no problems moving to the uCertify system because it's not affecting CTC, our testing site.
Correct. Correct. All right. Well, again, we appreciate your attendance today. We appreciate all of the comments and questions and suggestions that we have received from you over time that has helped us move in some of these directions, and we hope this answers a number of the questions and comments that you may have submitted. If you do have any questions, please contact us. We'd be happy to spend more one-on-one time with you, walking through this platform, helping you feel comfortable with it, helping you see how this can benefit you and your students. And let's see. And we'll work on a couple of these other questions here and provide some answers for them. Let's see. Yeah, there's a comment about YouTube. We really try not to use a YouTube environment in our curriculum because I know many school districts do block that. We will continue to watch for that. The interactive labs, yes, we can get into some of those. There are some things that we'll be building with the interactive labs that will not be, there'll be a variety of things. There will be some simulation, and there will be some that will be actual live virtual environment. That is something that Manish and I are working on for the CIW products. We are also looking at the foundations courses, and there will be updates for those too. Those I don't believe will be affected by exam objectives. It's more of refreshing the content within the course. But we'll be looking at those very shortly too. But again, we appreciate the comments, the questions. We appreciate your attendance today. And Manish, thank you very much for sharing with us the platform and our content on your platform. And we will let you know when our next webinar is, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.